The Frida's Cleaning Service is a small family-owned business established in 2003. With over 17 years of professional, high-quality, and greatly satisfied service, the Frida's Cleaning Service will get the job done. Specializing in sanitizing your home, business, post-construction, and commercial cleaning, no job's too big or small. See for yourself and give us a call, 567-249-9172. La Frida's Cleaning Service. Our reputation is always spotless.
Hi, this is TV comedy impressionist Christopher G from the other side of the pond saying hi, and I love the Queen Silvy show.
Today on the Queen Silvy Show, live from London, discussing eating disorders and ways to cope with your anxiety behavior. She's an advanced hypnotherapy practitioner, anxiety and eating disorder therapist, and author, Kate Hudson Hall.
Welcome to the Queen Silvy Show. Tune in at 11, good laugh, good vibe, that's for sure. Get smooth with Tim, get smooth with Tim. They have you rolling like you popped the pill. Once you hear the show, you ain't gonna want it to end. Get creative with the sounds you can make with your mouth. Reaching all over the world, Queen Silvy in the house. Award-winning show, got the #1 spot, look out. It's the Queen Silvy Show. 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 It's the Queen Silvy Show.
Hi, this is Joe Mass. You are listening to the Queen Silvy Show. You are now part of the royalty.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live, it's time for the silky smooth sounds of Smooth Tim and Her Majesty herself, Queen Silvy.
Hey, and welcome to the show. We appreciate you dropping in on the multiple award-winning The Queen Silvy Show. It is now my absolute pleasure to introduce to you the world's sexiest granny, everybody's favorite comedian, the Queen herself, Queen Silvy.
Yes, it is me, Queen Silvy. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are in this great world today. Hey, get ready for some super greatness. You know I bring it to you every week, and we are here to bring it to you today. That's right, again. Smooth, how are you today?
I am doing terrific, Queen. Can I ask, how are you doing?
You sure can. I am super califragilistic.
Expialidocious osmosis.
Yes.
Yeah, 24/7, 365. Queen Silvy, you're just simply
I know. Amazing.
Yes, you are.
True that. I am amazing. You are amazing, Smooth. You are amazing, as well as our amazing guest and announcements for today.
Absolutely. We're going to have talking to us a little bit about anxiety and eating disorders from across the pond, Kate Hudson Hall. Absolutely. Oh, also, speaking of going across the pond, still our hearts and prayers going out to what's going on in Ukraine.
Absolutely.
You know, hopefully they can get that ironed out. My God, it's been going on way too long. Should have never started in the first damn place.
Right.
And anyhow, hey, even here in the good old U.S. of A, people, relax, take it easy, and coast faith over fear, as the Queen always says.
Yes, I do.
Hey, if you would please take a moment and sign up for the Queen Silvy Friends Club. You can look at the top of the screen if you're watching it's live, or if you're listening, you can get a hold of us at www.thequeensylvyshow.com. Go to the contact tab, scroll on down, and pop your email into us, and we will get in touch with you, with the information of what's going on in our show, as well as other projects that the Queen and I are working on.
Absolutely.
And also, because you are worth it, you know what? Foxy 5 Jewelry. It is sassy, elegant, and affordable, fashionable jewelry and accessories for you and or that someone special. So go ahead and get a hold of Monica Wright on Facebook, or go ahead and go to her website, www.foxy5jewelry.com. Also, another way to keep up with us is to go to our YouTube channel. So simply go to YouTube and in the search engine, drop in The Queen Silvy Show. You'll get the results of all of our shows, as well as some movies and some other stuff that we have been doing.
Surprise!
Surprise, surprise, surprise. So go ahead, and while you're there, just please subscribe. We'd appreciate it. Also, if you would, we have been blessed to be nominated by the Toledo City Paper as a podcast of the year, right? Again. So, hey, anyhow, we would appreciate it if you would please go to www.thetoledocitypaper.com. Go to the media and scroll on down to podcasts, and please cast your vote for The Queen Silvy Show. We appreciate it. Analytics from last week's broadcast: Australia, the Bahamas, Canada, the Dominican Republic, good old Ireland, New Zealand, St. Lucia, the United Kingdom, and the United States of America. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much.
Listening to the show. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. In fact, if you are watching this live, I want you to know, Smooth and myself, we love and appreciate you. And if you're watching this later on the archive,
our love is everlasting.
Our love is everlasting. We love and appreciate you too, bringing you some super greatness that you are so inside. Be kind and spread the word to someone else so they can come in and get this super greatness that we have in store for you today. Before I begin my conversation with my wonderful guest, you know me, right? What I like to do at this moment is I like to share some motivational words from the Queen Silvy Show to you. It makes a big difference in your life when you stay positive. See, once you replace the negative thoughts with the positive ones, you'll start seeing results. That's because your positive actions combined with positive thinking results in success. So if you're positive, I promise you'll see opportunities instead of obstacles. So trust, love, and believe in yourself. You're worth it. That's right. Hey? And those are some motivational words from the Queen Silvy Show to you. Yes, you are worth it. You are beautiful, and we love and appreciate you on this great day here. I want you to know that the phone lines are open. You're more than welcome to call in and ask Smooth or myself or my guest a question. That number is 817-602-0577. That is the number to the Queen Silvy Show. Here to help you overcome your deepest, darkest struggles, discussing eating disorders and ways to cope with your anxieties, behaviors, while providing proven techniques and tips just for you. She's a magnificent author, anxiety and eating disorder therapist, advanced hypnotherapy practitioner, and so much more. Here today, live from London, I introduce to you Kate Hudson Hall.
Wow, thank you so much. What an introductory, Queen Silvy.
Well, I don't think I've done justice to someone at your stature. You are magnificent, making such a huge difference in the world. You're not only a specialist when it comes to eating disorders and anxieties, Kate, but you also have like maybe 15 years of personal experience suffering with anorexia and bulimia. So let's start out with you. Share what you will about your story and how you've come through it.
Yes. Oh, gosh. Well, it started, I think, well, the very first time that I had anxiety was when I was 5, and I had separation anxiety from my mother, but because it was back in the 1800s, it was a very long time ago. And in those days, people didn't, they weren't aware of anxiety, particularly separation anxiety, and I was just told to get on with it. So I think it really kind of started from there, the anxiety and all the difficult experiences I had from then on. When I was 9, I was sexually abused. And I never actually talked to anybody about that until I found a therapist that I became comfortable with in my 30s. So I held on to that. And then I was sent away to boarding school when I was 11, and that whole big another separation. And I would cry every night for about 3 weeks, because having to have left my mother. And then after that, then I had 1 week of reprieve, and then I'd probably see her again, and then the whole cycle would start all over again. So there was other things, many different, and then later on I was sexually abused again. And so then when I was 18, a friend of mine, I feel that I was a late developer and my body was changing. And I wasn't overweight, but I felt that because my body felt different to me. So I was concerned about my weight. So I went on various different diets. And then a friend of mine said to me, "Oh, did you know that if you eat a Mars bar and make yourself sick, you can lose weight?" And my mind kind of took that and ran with it. And what's really important for people to hear from that is that it's the power of suggestion. So it's just being more aware of when you speak to people, and the kind of the insinuations that may be behind that. But particularly when you talk to children, you've got to be really careful about how you speak to your child or to children.
Right.
And make sure that, you kind of word it, maybe more in the positive would be much better for them, rather than, talking too much about the negative. And so anyway, so then when I was 18, that's when I kind of, from that power of suggestion, what that person said to me, my mind kind of ran with that. And then I sort of dived into this humongous, great big deep hole of anorexia and bulimia. And it became very, very severe. And the really sad thing is, because it was such a long time ago, there wasn't really much help out there. There was no internet in the 1800s. There wasn't really any books either. It was actually in the 1980s, but there wasn't really any books particularly on bulimia. And I just thought, as I was going through this, that I was going mad. I obviously knew that I was in this pattern of behavior, but I didn't understand it. And nobody else kind of did either, really, around, which, was a very difficult time, not only for me, but also for my family, my friends, and my poor mother. And I remember sitting with a friend of mine, and she said to me at the time, when I was in the depths of my bulimia, she said, "So why is it when we're all sitting around together and we're talking about our feelings, you're the only one that never actually talks about your feelings?" And I had no idea what she was talking about. I didn't even know what a feeling was back then. Anyway, so that pattern continued for 15 years until my mother kind of finally dragged me to see the doctor. And then from then on, I gradually started to open up and get help. And then when I was going through that transition, I eventually found a therapist that I was seeing. And I spent 4 years with her. And when I was seeing her and, working through my recovery, my mother got cancer. And I never had a father. He died when I was 2. So my mother was like a mother and a father rolled into one. And then after 2 years, she died very suddenly of cancer. And I do believe that if I wasn't seeing that therapist, then I wouldn't be here today.
Well, it's
She
a good
helped me
thing.
enormously.
It is a good thing. Do you realize, Kate, how blessed and fortunate you are? So many go through what you've went through, or other things that they go through and they don't come out of it. They don't have a story, a testimony to say. They don't come out as strong as you are to take that experience and make a difference for others. Because this is decades later now where you're currently really making a difference worldwide. We're going to talk about your books and coloring books, or you're just doing some fantastic things to help people worldwide. But tell me the services. Tell me what services and kind of treatments that you provide now,
So
currently.
yeah, so after I sort of had that realization that I wouldn't have been here without that therapist, and after I gradually made it through my recovery and sort of came out the other side, then it was like, oh, I know what I want to do. I want to be able to help other people how I've been helped. So that was 22 years ago. So I have been working as a therapist. So I work as a psychotherapist and a hypnotherapist, and I'm also an NLP practitioner, so neuro-linguistic programming. And then I also teach emotional freedom technique, the tapping technique, which is brilliant, and everybody should be doing that to be able to. It's very easy to learn, and then we can talk about that maybe later. But it's a brilliant
Yes.
technique to be able
Yes.
to help you. And then there's another number of different therapies that I do as well.
Ooh, well, what's the purpose? What is your purpose, your mission, or the driving force for all the amazing work that you do in this world?
Yeah, to be able to help people.
So, since this pandemic, now we all have been affected by this pandemic. Here in the United States, 62% of Americans feel more anxious. And according to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, nearly 7 million adults suffer from generalized anxiety disorder. I have a video that I want to pop in, and then we're going to get engulf and get into this, as well as you providing some tips to help those that's suffering from anxiety as well as eating disorders. So check this out.
We all feel anxious in difficult or threatening situations. It's a feeling of worry or fear that usually stops once the situation is over. Anxiety becomes a problem when the feelings are too strong or carry on long after you need them. With anxiety, you worry all the time and find it impossible to concentrate. You might feel tired and irritable and struggle to sleep. When anxiety goes on for a while, it's easy to feel depressed. Anxiety has many physical symptoms too. These include sweating, breathlessness, feeling sick, and an increased heart rate. It's easy to think these are signs of a physical illness, which can make anxiety even worse. Anxiety takes 3 main forms, and most people experience more than one of them. Generalized anxiety disorder is where you experience symptoms of anxiety most of the time. Panic attacks are sudden, unpredictable attacks of anxiety in situations you find difficult. They can also come on out of the blue. The feelings come on suddenly and reach a peak in about 10 minutes. A phobia is a fear of something that's not really dangerous. The nearer you get to that thing, the more anxious you feel, so you stay away. One example is agoraphobia, which is a fear of being in public spaces that might be difficult to leave. Luckily, there are steps you can take to overcome your anxiety. If your anxiety comes from a recent problem, it can help to talk with a good listener who you trust and respect. Self-help groups are a great place to talk and share different ways of coping with people who understand what you're going through. There are specific ways of relaxing to help control your anxiety. You can learn them through groups, from professionals, or from self-help books. You might be too worried to seek help for anxiety in case people think that you're mad. They won't. Anxiety is a common problem, and it's much better to get help than suffer in silence. Cognitive behavioural therapy can help you understand how your thinking habits can make anxiety worse or even cause it. You can practice CBT in groups or individually. You can even give yourself CBT through computer programs and self-help books. Medication can also play a part in the treatment of anxiety or phobias. Whatever you decide, remember anxiety is very common. Lots of people have overcome it, and so will you. To find out more about anxiety, visit the Royal College of Psychiatrists website.
Interesting. Kate, let me ask you, is anxiety contagious?
It feels contagious, doesn't it? Because so many people have it.
Yeah. I don't know if
But
I'm having a phobia or anxiety because honestly, since this pandemic, if I go to the store, these big stores at a certain time and the parking lot is filled, I can't go in the store.
yeah,
So now I program it where I go at a certain time. Like as soon as they open in the morning, I gotta go. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I don't know. That's the only way for me to deal with the fact that I can't stand. People. Some people have different attitudes about the pandemic and their health and their hygiene. So lately, I find that I'll sit in the car and be like, I can't go in the store, and I
yeah,
don't. So I
yeah.
go in the
I think
morning.
that's, you know, Queen Sylvia, I think that is quite common
Yeah,
since the pandemic. Even people just leaving their house knowing that they need to go to the store
yeah,
would be a really traumatic experience now
yeah,
because of what we have been through.
yeah. So give me a tip. Give me a tip or a coping skill for moments when your anxiety is just cranked over dry. You know what I mean? What's the correct way of dealing with it?
Well, I think a lot of people know about the breathing, and by taking one or more than one deep breath, it can help to calm you. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you've tried that, Queen
Oh,
Sylvie.
of course.
Yeah.
Right from the car.
But the reason I like talking about this is because a lot of people don't realize how they should do that. And I'd like to kind of explain
Please do.
the why we breathe in a certain way and how you do it. So when you breathe in, so we've got the central nervous system that runs through our bodies. We have two of them. One's called the sympathetic nervous system, one which is the system that's connected to that anxious state, that fight or flight state. So that's called the sympathetic nervous system. Then you've got your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your normal, natural, calm state. So when you breathe in, it's really important because you access that anxious state. You only breathe in for the count of 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hold it for the count of 8. And then you breathe it out for the count of 8 also. So it's 4, 8, 8. So you're only accessing that anxious state when you breathe in, just briefly, and then you access the calm, normal, relaxed state as you breathe out. So you breathe in through your nose to the count of 4, and then you hold it for as long as you can for the count of 8. And then breathing out to access that normal, calm state of yours, you breathe out to the count of 8. And it's also really important when you breathe in for the count of 4, you breathe all the way in right down to the base of your tummy. And then as you breathe out, you just very slowly, as you count to 8, just breathing out and letting go. So you're accessing that normal, calm state. So that's the way to do it, because a lot of people don't really understand the reasons why you do that.
And it
or
works.
how you do it.
Yes, and it works.
Yeah, I would say just caution, don't hold your breath too long, I think, and pass out. That's beyond the point of relaxation that Kate is talking about.
Just as long as you can.
Right? You're like, I think you went
Good.
overboard. That's all right.
He's relaxed.
But can you talk a little bit about your approach and how it plays into your work with people dealing or recovering from anxiety?
So it's difficult because everybody's different. So that's when I wrote the book. There's multiple different ways, so many different ways in the book to help you, different tools and techniques and different ways to be able to help you to be able to calm. So because, some people find it easier to work with, a particular technique rather than something else. One of the techniques in there is something called thought stopping, which is really basic and really easy. Because like you said, Queen Silvy, we have so many thoughts that go through our mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really difficult to even listen for a lot of people to their own thinking.
Right.
We have 60,000 different thoughts that go through our mind every day. And 95, this is just horrific, when 95% of the thoughts that we have that floating around in our head every day are the same thoughts that we had yesterday and the day before and the day before. So it's starting to be consciously aware of what you're telling yourself and what you're thinking. You know, so for you, before you go to the store, that before you even left the house, I don't know, but maybe those negative thoughts are already starting to build up. And, you know, you think, oh my God, if that parking lot is going to be full, I know,
Right.
you know, you can feel the anxiety beginning to build. So starting sort of to be more aware of what you're telling yourself. Now, as you do that, then what is a really good positive change that you could make is to use the thought stopping technique. And it's really basic, but it's starting to listen to what you're telling yourself. And when you start to get that anxious feeling and you start to listen to what you're telling yourself, these two things contribute to building up the anxiety. So it's starting to, when you're aware of that negative thought, stop for a moment. And then what you're going to do is you are going to shout at that negative voice. Now, if you're on your own, great, shout out loud as possible. But if you're with other people, you might get a bit of a shock. And then
Right.
you're going to tell that voice to get lost in whatever term you like. Just tell it to go away. You know, get a little bit harsher than that if you like. But the more that you do that, the quieter that voice will become. So it really, really does work, this technique. It's brilliant. But it's starting, first of all, to be listening to those thoughts and
The
what you're telling you.
mindset. It's the mindset.
Absolutely.
It's the mindset.
Absolutely.
You know, you know how, have you heard this saying where they say, if you tell yourself that enough, you'll believe it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like that. Tell yourself, reprogram the negativity and change the positive. I'm cool now when it comes to going to the store because, well, I go at a time that works for me, and I do the breathing exercises in the car. I've had a guest a couple years ago that showed the very exact thing that you're saying. So you are very true. And for anyone out there right now that's going through where you sit, you can do it right now and see how it does work and how it does go. And it can be in the workforce, at home, the kids. There's a lot of situations that anxiety play a part in. And tell me, Kay, is it true or false that sometimes anxiety and eating disorders go hand in hand?
Oh, absolutely. They go hand in hand. Yeah.
So, you know, most people assume that males don't have eating disorders when in fact they represent 25% of individuals with, what is anorexia nervosa? Am I saying that right?
Nervosa, yeah. So anorexia is when you deprive yourself of food, and then bulimia is when you overeat and you binge and purge. So,
Right.
and then of course, then we've got the binge eating,
Right.
which was actually officially given the label in 2013. And that's another huge problem for so many.
So what are some misconceptions about eating disorders?
The misconceptions. Well, something that springs to mind is that particularly with somebody that has bulimia, if they are, you know, a person with an eating disorder, if they have anorexia, they're more than likely very, very slim.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody with bulimia, they could be of normal weight, but sometimes they're, you know, a little heavier also, which makes it twice as difficult when they do actually go to reach out for help, because people don't believe them. And so many people have told me that. It's just, you know, it's just horrific.
Well, some people may be in denial. Some people may not know. And then there may be a teenager or something and the mom is not sure. What would be some signs that someone has an eating disorder?
Can I say something real quick, though? And I don't know if this is true, but it would seem to me that maybe an overweight people would have more of a problem with bulimia because they already have a weight disorder. Now this is just double tripping them out. They love food, and I got to get rid of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So what would be some signs that someone may have?
And it's a whole big secretive disease.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you say, Smooth Tim, you know, nobody would know, you know, or may not know because of, you know, they're on the heavier side.
Wow. And that's true.
Hmm.
What would be some signs, though? What would be some signs that someone has an eating disorder and someone around them may not even be
Yeah,
aware of
a
it?
friend or mom and dad to look for.
Right.
Yeah. Well, if somebody has anorexia, it's sort of a little more obvious because they stop eating, they start to not want to eat with the family, they start to refuse certain foods, they could start to over exercise also, which is another combination that could be sort of involved in it more than they would normally. Um, and that is called exercise bulimia because they will eat, you know, a certain amount of food, but then they will spend, 3, 4 hours in the gym to work off that food.
Wow.
And they just becomes an obsession. But if they've got, for a parent, if they feel that their child has, say, bulimia, um, the signs would be them eating more food that they would normally do, and then sloping off to the bathroom and spending time in the bathroom and purging that food. Um, so if you have a child and you are concerned, it's what I say to parents is the very first step is for you to get online and find out as much information as you possibly can about the particular eating disorder or all eating disorders. So when you go to approach your loved one, you have some more knowledge. But when you do approach them, obviously finding the right time when it's quiet and there's not lots of people around, but also speaking to them and telling them that you feel that you have been aware that they have been reducing the amount of food that they're eating, or they do seem to go off into the bathroom after they've eaten, and you are aware of that. But it's really important that you aim at giving them, trying to get them to talk about their feelings
Mm-hmm.
rather than focusing on the food or the patterns. It's trying to
Right.
get them to open up with their feelings. And you could quite well get knocked back, but if you do, it's important to remember that you're setting seeds. So the next time that you decide to approach them, you've already set that one seed. So it's gradually over time, they hopefully will listen to what you're saying.
You're right. Hey, there's help out here today. In today's times, technology is everywhere. We have the National Eating Disorder Association helpline for anyone who wants to reach out for any information, confidential, of course. And that number is 1-800-931-2237. I'll have that posted up on the site as well. But if you don't want to talk to someone, you can text, and there is crises text line. There's more than one way to communicate, and this is provided too. Just text connect, CONNECT, to 741-741, and again that will be on the website for you as well. But the amazing Kate, that's what I call you, the amazing Kate. You have a fourth new book that just been released the other day, November the 13th. But before I get into that book, I want to acknowledge the first three books because they are important as well. They are still available for someone. This is very great. I want you to elaborate on it. First, we have Bulimia Sucks, 10 Simple Steps to Stop Binging and Purging. And you have Bulimia Sucks, which is a personal workbook. You have Bulimia Sucks Personal Food Journal. Wow, that is a complete package that is like priceless. It's a perfect gift for someone. It's great information. Tell me about that there.
Well, I decided to write the book because I helped so many people with eating disorders, and I wanted to reach out to a larger audience. And I thought, what better way to do that would be than to write a book?
Right.
And in the book, it's 25% memoir of my experience. And then the rest of the book are different ways and patterns and different ways that you can start to address those behaviors, those difficult patterns and behaviors. And there's a lot of different information in there. And um, Yeah, and there's lots of different other ways, but it explains about the bulimia and the eating disorder and how you can start to begin to break those patterns. And then the workbook, the Bulimia Sucks workbook, in that there are a lot of many different tables that you can fill out, which are connected to Bulimia Sucks and the different techniques in there to be able to help you work your way through the book. And then the food journal is obviously a journal where you can start to begin to list what foods you're eating, but there's questions in there that get you to start to open up and think about, what you can change that day or the next day. What are your goals for that particular day?
That's great.
So
You also, what was the purpose for the coloring books, which I think are absolutely great? Everyone loves coloring, and it's therapeutic as well.
I know, I love making those. They're very therapeutic in themselves when I'm. So, I decided that I wanted to do one for the 3 eating disorders, so binge eating, bulimia, and anorexia, and then also one for anxiety. And what is good about them? So, on one page there is a mandala, a beautiful mandala that you can color in with a quote on it about some sort of positive quote. And then on the other side, there's a question or questions about that quote. So as you're coloring, you can start to think about that quote.
Love it.
And then how that can help you in your recovery, or to help you with your anxiety. So
I love that. I really do. You're providing the tools for someone to help themselves, on a personal level. Like you can't sleep. These are perfect tools to fill in that void. But you are the one that's making this difference with all of this. And you have the book. You wanted to say something, I know.
Right. Yeah, I wanted to ask a question. Do you consider all these eating disorders a psychological issue? And then once you've answered that, how did your support team help you drill down into the root cause of your disorder?
Yeah, good questions. So absolutely, for an eating disorder, even though you have these difficult behaviors and patterns, it's not really about the food. It's about, how you're feeling and what maybe past experiences you have, or it's a common trait for people with an eating disorder is perfectionism. So it's working with that. There's so many different kind of avenues to be addressed. For me, my support team, I had that one therapist. Initially, I was taken to see my doctor, and then I went to see a psychiatrist who diagnosed me with bulimia and anorexia. And then from then on, I was sent to these number of different counselors, and then finally found a psychotherapist that I felt really comfortable with. And that was my support team. But for many people, it's just such a huge, great, positive help to have, to have a doctor, to have a psychiatrist, to have a nutritionalist, to have your counselor or psychotherapist, to have all of those to be able to support you in your recovery.
Oh, it takes a team. That was why I was asking, is how you got through it, because you need a team. You need that support.
Well,
it's
you
hard
need
to do
someone.
it by yourself.
You need someone. You need to talk to someone. But let's just face it. Some people can't afford a therapist. Can't go to a therapist, and that's where these books, the coloring books, all the books come into play, because it makes you're doing something versus getting down because you can't afford that. That doesn't mean there's not a way out there for you. And your newest book, by the way, where's my audience? They're going to give it up to you because your book is booming right now. It is #1, just been released. Wow, that should make you feel outstanding. Anxiety hacks with proven techniques, tools, and tips to calmness. Please, the floor is yours to talk about this great book.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Queen Silvy. Yes, I'm very excited. So it has just launched, and it is available on Amazon. So like Queen Silvy said, so there are so many different techniques and tools and different ways that you can be able to calm yourself in the book. So, for example, there's a number of different specific acupressure points that you can use to be able to, to calm yourself. there are so many different ways and techniques that I think it's really important that people have a toolbox that they can sort of dip into. And the other therapy that I really find beneficial, my clients do also, is the emotional freedom technique, which is the tapping therapy. And it's the way that it works is, so it's tapping on a routine of points on your face and on your body while thinking about your negative feeling or a thought that you have, and you can reduce down that feeling.
That is important.
Just fantastic. And the specific point for anxiety is the collarbone point. So your collarbone, where it comes down to a V here. So most people think this is a collarbone, but it also comes down and leads down into where it comes down into a V, right in the middle here. And so if you tap on that bone with 2 fingers on either side of that bone, that's a specific point to be able to reduce and calm anxiety.
Ooh.
And so when you're sitting in your car outside the grocery store or wherever you're going,
right,
you can sit in the car. So you could do your breathing, take a nice deep breath. Maybe you could also have a good positive affirmation that you could calm yourself with to get yourself into a good mindset. All the while tapping on your collarbone point.
That is interesting.
So, but I love this point because there's a number of different points you tap on in the whole of the sequence. But this one, I just feel my whole body go, ooh, and it kind of relaxes.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh, too. I'm like, hold on, and we'll be back after this complete message. No, I'm just kidding. But that's very interesting, and it's this and so much more that can help you, your neighbor, your family member. I really wish that you all go and obtain anxiety hacks with proven techniques, tools, and tips to calmness. It is so important. There is so much stress in the world right now, so many triggers that we all have, so many people that don't want to leave the house because of anxieties and other things, that you can sit at home and get yourself together. There's things you can do. It all takes effort. This book is a great tool for it. Coloring book. Oh my gosh, that is so great. I love color. I color with my grandson all the time. He doesn't realize how he's helping his granny by sitting there and coloring with me.
Your little therapist.
Yeah, he has no idea. He's my little prince. But yeah, that is what it is. But tell everyone one more time how the book, where we can obtain all of the books as well as the coloring books. Are they all?
Sure. Also, I just wanted to say within the book, there's a companion course comes with it, which has many different videos of me talking about working through the book and how you can work through the book, and then teaching you how to do each technique. So, and then there's downloadable tables and things within the course. So it all comes free with the book.
So you know what? I'm wondering, Kate, aside from the book, have you considered, or do you do like online sessions, one-on-one sessions with some people from all over the world?
Yeah, no, I have one-to-one clients I mostly do it on Zoom, but I also do it on WhatsApp and FaceTime, depending on the client, but it's mostly on Zoom. So I do one-to-one clients. Yeah.
Cool. I love that. So is it Calm, CALM, that you're globally recognized, proven, successful, calm your alarm techniques to reduce anxiety instantly?
Yes. Yeah.
I am good. I am loving
You
it.
are very, very good, I must say.
I am loving it. So listen, before we go, is there anything that you want to add? I know that so you have a new podcast, but do you also have Bulimia Sucks?
Yeah, so I have a podcast called Bulimia Sucks. It's been going for almost 2 years. We've just had 30,000 downloads. So I'm really pleased about that. Just
Outstanding.
Because of the amount of people that hopefully it's helped. So I'm excited about that. And then tomorrow is the big launch of the Anxiety Hacks podcast. So there'll be 6 episodes going live tomorrow, and then there'll be weekly, every Wednesday, a new podcast will go out.
So how can everybody catch it? How can everyone catch it tomorrow?
So it's on all the major platforms, and it's called Anxiety Hacks.
Love it. Looking forward to it. You are like a doctor. You are a doctor. You know what? Susan over here is asking, do you hypnotize people? Do you hypnotize people?
Absolutely. Oh, I've been doing it for 22 years, to help them with difficult behaviors that they have. Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic.
Is that scary or powerful? How is that to hypnotize someone?
It's so people think, that's the thing, that with hypnotherapy, people think it's going to be something really wacky, but it's not. It's just like, it's me talking to somebody sitting in the chair, and they will be relaxing, and that's all basically it is. But they will be going into a trance. And when you're in a trance, it's working with the unconscious mind. So you've got your conscious mind, which is your everyday decision making. And then you've got your unconscious mind that deals with everything else. So it deals with all your habits and your emotions and your behaviors. So it's working with the unconscious mind and starting to sort of kind of reprogram the unconscious mind. So it works positively for you in the future.
Wow.
For whatever pattern behavior you want to change. So
Wow.
it's, it is an excellent extra therapy to help. I use it a lot to help my clients to break their anxiety patterns.
That's interesting. I really find that to be interesting. The hypnotic, I would probably use it just to get all the nice clothes that I want discounted instantly when I go to the store. Hey, I want that, and that but okay. So listen, I appreciate you taking the time and being on the show. We must do this again because I'm sure I'm going to get flown with questions that I didn't ask and they want to know. Should that be a case, we most definitely...
Inquiring minds, what to know.
They always do. So we most definitely cater to please our audience, and if that's the case, I will be hooking you up again. But tell everyone right now how you can be followed on social media and contacted for any of your services.
Yeah, so the best thing, so my email me. So it's Kate Hudson Hall at gmail.com. But or you can go to my website. There's a lot more information on there, which is katehudson-hall.com. So they're the two main places to go to check me out. Also, come join me on Facebook under my name, Kate Hudson Hall. And we also have an Anxiety Hacks podcast. We've got the Anxiety Hacks podcast, but we've also got the Anxiety Hacks Facebook page. So you could come and join us on there. So we're building on that. And also all my handles on the social media are at Kate Hudson Hall. That's
great. Kate Hudson Hall is a busy queen doing so many things. I'm like, well, when you do have a moment, free time, what do you do to relax and enjoy yourself?
What do I do to relax? Well, if it was the summertime, I like going down to the coast. We have some land and overlooks the Cornwall Atlantic Ocean.
Ooh.
So in the country, so it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and that's a lot of fun.
That sounds beautiful. That sounds like the perfect place to write a book. It's nice and relaxing.
A good place to practice mindfulness, because I also talk about mindfulness in the book and teach people how to do that.
Absolutely, and that's another important matter indeed. Wow, you're just a whole package of greatness, you are. And I do thank you so very much. I really thank you for being on the show, enlightening, shedding some light, giving some tips on anxiety and eating disorders. I look forward to having you back again. We most definitely will be in touch with you. And until then.
Well, thank you, Queen Silvy and Smooth Tim. Fabulous. Really so much enjoyed sharing and talking with you.
We enjoy it as well.
Thank you.
So until we meet again, my queen. Everyone is queens, if you don't know.
Well, of course they're queens. Yes.
If you don't think of yourself as a queen, I'm like, I am a queen. And I'm this way because, 3 marriages, I'm not going to have it any other way from that point on. Queen.
Absolutely.
Queen. So, yes, please do enjoy your day, if you will, and we will be in touch with you.
Thank you. I always did enjoy
Bye.
Bye-bye. Hypnotherapy is a fantastic thing. And you know it works.
It is. I hypnotized him. You know, they don't know it, but yeah, that's why he's never going anywhere. He's
I'm never going
hypnotized.
anywhere. Yep.
He's never going to
She
leave.
used a rapid induction on me, and it was.
That's it. I am supercalifragilistic. And you know what? This is a great day. I hope you enjoy the information. It is so important. It is for you, you, and you. You are all worthy. You are very much worthy of a great life, happy life, healthy, and mindset on point. And we have the perfect thing for you. I advise you, Kate Hudson Hall. That's the one. Look her up. Check her out. What did you have to say?
Oh, I agree 100%.
He was just looking at me with that twinkle in his eyes.
Well, you know, that's because you have that magic on me, Queen, because you are just simply
I know. Amazing.
Yeah,
Oh, say it again. I'm what? What am I? I didn't hear you.
amazing.
Amazing. True,
Okay.
true, true. But listen, I did not forget my shout outs from all of my good queens and kings from around the world. I've been getting messages popping in about, oh, did you forget me? I will never forget you, as we love and appreciate you. Giving a shout out to you, Kinsley Patinio, Queen Jenna, Queen Ashley Follette Clark, and Kenneth Rouse. Shout out to you. Shout out to Helen Myers, Peace Myers, Corey and Casey Patinio, Joan Mercer. Shout out to you. To Queen Aaliyah, Asia, Tay, Maya, and Camille, shout out to you. To my grandsons, you know who I'm talking about, my Poo-Poo, Prince Omari, Jonathan Jr., and Tyron, shout out to you. To LP and Cynthia, Queen Sonia, Kaki, Shanika, Brianna, Alana, and Precious, shout out to you. To Kelly and Ryan and the All-American Boys, Matt and Tracy, and the All-American Girls, shout out to you, as well as Pamela Anderson, C. Shorty Franklin, Patricia Wilhelm McGiffin, Renita Easley, Gold Rosa, and Donna Ferry. Shout out to you. To my good friends down in United Kingdom, my good queens, Beth Lambert, Nicola Jones, Bethany Jones, and Kay Cross. Shout out to you. To my good friend in the Netherlands, Edith Verhoek. Shout out to you. In Spain, Lorenzo Gabaniza, Miguel Montalban. Shout out to you. All the way in Africa, shout out to you, Websterito, Hostile Flow, Hero Boy, Princess Arialua. Shout out to you, as well as Amy Kanima down in Africa. Shout out to James and Audrey, Serious Edition, Melody Gore Dobbs, and Angela Baker, Joe Mass. Shout out to you. Hey, 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 hey. And I'm not talking about Fat Albert. I said, hey, hey, hey. If you would love to be shouted out, if you have someone you would love for us to represent, we will definitely represent you every week on the multiple award-winning The Queen Silvy Show, the Tim's Tidbits with special co-host Larry E. out of Dallas, Texas, and every Thursday with the Now You Know Show with Queen Silvy and Smooth Tim. So if you would love to be shouted out, hit me up at queensylvia@comic.com. Go to the website, thequeensylvyshow.com, or where you're viewing, listening to this, leave it in the comments section. Smooth over here. We'll make sure
We'll get it taken care of.
we get that taken care of, most definitely.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, your show is coming up.
Oh, tomorrow.
Yeah, anything you want to say about it?
Tune
He
in.
never does.
Tune on in.
Tune on in.
It's been an interesting week, so we'll have a whole lot to talk about.
Oh, yes. You know, he gives quite a show here. I'm not going to say that one word.
We give you an interesting perspective of what's going on in the world today.
And
that
I'm
you
gonna
have
leave
a
it like
complete
that.
Understanding.
What I call political,
Very
that's
unbiased.
his
It's
show.
an unbiased thing. Anyhow, move on. Stop. We're very unbiased.
And you know, every Thursday, bringing you encouraging, inspirational, and even funny segments from some great queens and kings from around the world just for you. You are so in for a treat of super greatness every Thursday. Tim's show, Tim's Tidbits, is every Wednesday in the evenings at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do check your time zones. And every Thursday with the Now You Know Show with Queen Silvy and Smooth Tim is in the evenings at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, do check your time zones.
So,
So with that said,
until next week, Queen.
until Smooth, tell everyone how we can be
we
followed.
can be followed very easily. Simply Google us. We would appreciate you Googling us. We like being Googled, as a matter of fact, because that gives you avenues to follow us in all the major platforms. But more importantly, please go to YouTube and subscribe to the Queen Silvy Show. That's what we would appreciate, so we can keep expanding the content there.
Absolutely. Always bringing the best in live entertainment, talents, and topics from around the world just for you. Go out and enjoy your day. You know I've been fasting, so you know I'm ready to go and eat. Woo! So with that said, Smooth.
Until next week, same Queen time, same Queen station.
All right.
We'll holla.
Holla.